King Hezekiah was dying. The prophet Isaiah walked into his room, looked at the infected wound, and gave an instruction that had nothing to do with prayer. He said, "Take a fig cake and lay it on the wound." That is recorded in Isaiah chapter 38, verse 21, 700 years before the Common Era. And it is the same treatment documented in the Ebers Papyrus, written 800 years before Isaiah in 1550 BC, in prescription 474. The same wound treatment. Two independent sources, 800 years apart. Today, you will know the exact preparation the healers of the ancient world used for infected wounds, and why a second plant, Myrrh, turned it into something no single ingredient could achieve alone. Ficus carica, the common fig. The name comes from the ancient city of Carica in southwestern Anatolia, one of the first regions where the tree was cultivated, approximately 11,000 years ago, making it one of the oldest domesticated plants in human history. The ripe fig is dense, soft, and slightly sticky to the touch. When pressed, it releases a pale juice that smells faintly of fermented honey. That stickiness is not incidental. The mucilaginous compounds in ripe fig flesh, primarily pectin and ficin, are what make it effective as a wound application. Pectin forms a physical barrier over broken tissue. Ficin is a proteolytic enzyme that breaks down damaged protein at the wound surface, cleaning the wound from the inside of the dressing. The fig tree appears in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. In the garden, Adam and Eve cover themselves with fig leaves. In the last week of Yeshua's life, a fig tree is the only plant he addresses directly by name. God did not choose the most common fruit of the ancient world as a recurring symbol by accident. The Ebers Papyrus, written in 1550 BC in Egypt and today held at the University of Leipzig, dedicates prescriptions 474 through 479 to wound treatments using fig paste. Prescription 474 reads, "Crush ripe figs into a paste, mix with fermented grain liquid, apply to the wound and bind with linen. Leave for 3 days." That fermented grain liquid is now understood to contain acetic acid, the same antimicrobial compound in vinegar. The ancient Egyptians did not know what acetic acid was. They knew that wounds treated with that preparation closed faster and infected less often than wounds treated without it. 800 years later, Isaiah records the identical treatment applied to King Hezekiah's wound in Jerusalem, a fig cake pressed directly onto infected skin. The king recovered. 2 Kings chapter 20 verse 7 confirms the account. Now move forward to the 1st century of the Common Era. Pliny the Elder, in Historia Naturalis Book 23, chapter 117, writes that fig paste applied warm to suppurating wounds draws out infection and accelerates closure. He is writing in Rome, drawing on Greek and Egyptian sources that stretch back to the same Ebers prescriptions. 3 civilizations, 1,500 years of documented continuous use, the same fig, the same wound, the same result. What the physicians of ancient Egypt pressed onto wounds in 1550 BC is exactly what you are going to prepare in your kitchen today. Ficin, the proteolytic enzyme in ripe fig latex, breaks peptide bonds in damaged tissue proteins. In plain language, it digests the dead and infected material at the wound surface without touching healthy tissue underneath. This is the same principle as modern enzymatic wound debridement, which is a standard procedure in clinical wound care today. A study published in 2012 in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology tested Ficus carica latex on bacterial cultures of Staphylococcus aureus and Escherichia coli, 2 of the most common wound-infecting bacteria. The fig latex inhibited the growth of both at concentrations achievable with a standard topical application. The second compound in this preparation is triterpenoids from Myrrh resin. Myrrh's active compounds inhibit the same bacterial cell wall synthesis pathways targeted by a class of modern antibiotics called beta-lactams. A 2010 study at the University of Heidelberg confirmed Myrrh resin's bacteriostatic action against 6 clinical isolates of drug-resistant Staphylococcus. Together, fig's ficin cleaning the wound mechanically and Myrrh's triterpenoid suppressing bacterial growth chemically, they create a 2-stage wound treatment that neither plant achieves independently. Everything I share here is designed to complement your medical care, not replace it. For deep wounds, wounds showing red streaking, or wounds that are not improving within 48 hours, see a physician. This preparation is for surface wounds, minor cuts, and slow-healing skin abrasions. The same hillside that grew the fig tree grew the thorns. The same region that produced the wound produced the remedy. I do not think that is coincidence. Here is the preparation, complete. You will not need to search for anything else. The healers of ancient Egypt called this preparation Keper-Nefer, the good closing. In the Levantine tradition carried by the Rophim of Galilee, the combination of fig and myrrh in oil was part of what Talmudic sources call refuat hagaviyah, remedies of the body, as distinct from remedies of prayer. You will need 3 ripe figs, not dried, not preserved, fresh and fully ripe. The skin should give easily under light pressure, and the flesh should be deep red or purple inside. 1 teaspoon of pure myrrh resin, available from herbal suppliers as raw resin tears, not essential oil. 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed unfiltered olive oil. 1 teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar. Clean linen cloth cut into strips for binding. Remove the skin from the figs and discard it. Mash the flesh thoroughly with the back of a spoon until you have a smooth paste with no large pieces remaining. The paste should hold its shape when pressed, not liquid, not dry. In a separate small vessel, gently warm the olive oil over the lowest possible heat. You want it just above body temperature, approximately 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Add the myrrh resin tears to the warm oil and stir slowly for 5 minutes. The resin will not dissolve completely. What you want is the oil to absorb the surface compounds from the resin. When the oil smells deeply of warm wood and camphor, not sharp, not alcohol, it is ready. Strain out the resin pieces through fine linen. Combine the fig paste with 2 teaspoons of the myrrh-infused oil and the teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Mix until fully incorporated. The mixture should be the color of dark amber and smell simultaneously sweet and medicinal. Apply a layer approximately ½ centimeter thick directly to the cleaned wound surface. Cover immediately with a strip of clean linen. Change the dressing every 12 hours. After each change, rinse the wound with clean water before reapplying. The most common error is using dried or preserved figs. The ficin enzyme is active only in fresh, ripe fig flesh and in the latex of fresh fig leaves. Dried figs have 0 ficin activity. The Ebers Papyrus specifies fresh fig in every prescription that uses it medicinally. That specification was not arbitrary. The prepared mixture keeps for 48 hours refrigerated. Do not store longer. Ficin degrades rapidly. Prepare fresh for each 2-day treatment cycle. Myrrh alone, the resin of Commiphora myrrha dissolved in olive oil at a ratio of 1 part resin to 4 parts oil, was the standard wound preparation carried by Roman legionary field surgeons in the 1st century. Pliny the Elder documents this use in Historia Naturalis, Book 12, Chapter 35. The same preparation is referenced in the Gospel of Mark, Chapter 15, verse 23, where wine mixed with myrrh is offered to Yeshua before the crucifixion, a known 1st century analgesic and antimicrobial compound given to those about to undergo severe physical trauma. In the Gospel of John, Chapter 19, verses 39 and 40, Nicodemus brings a mixture of myrrh and aloes, approximately 100 Roman pounds of it, to prepare Yeshua's body after the crucifixion. 100 Roman pounds is approximately 33 kilograms. That quantity was not symbolic. It was a full preservation and wound treatment protocol carried out by someone who understood exactly what these compounds do. I have believed for a long time that God did not place these 2 plants, the fig and the myrrh, side by side in the same book, in the same region, used by the same people, treating the same wounds for thousands of years without intention. The tools were always here. We just stopped reading carefully enough to see them. You now know what the Ebers Papyrus prescribed in 1550 BC, what Isaiah recorded 700 years before the Common Era, what Pliny the Elder confirmed in the same decade as Pedanius Dioscorides, and exactly how to prepare the complete 2-plant wound treatment in under 20 minutes. This knowledge is yours. It always was. Tell me in the comments, have you ever used fig or myrrh for anything, even in food or fragrance? I genuinely want to know what your experience has been. Next week, myrrh alone, Commiphora myrrha, a sealed jar of myrrh resin found at Ein Gedi in 1988, confirmed by chromatography, 2,000 years old and still chemically active. The wound salve Roman soldiers carried into battle. And the preparation Pedanius Dioscorides documented in 70 AD that modern clinical research has since confirmed works against drug-resistant bacteria.